Good evening, everyone. Hi. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight to this exciting Student Senate debate and Meet the Candidates event. Tonight we have Secretary Riley Benzing-Plord and Senator LaFosse in competition for the Student Senate President, Vice President seats, along with Ms. Adeteyo Olatinwo and Mr. Amo Mensah Amofa. Before we get started, we just have some ground rules and information to share with you all. Vice President Ohazo and myself will be monitoring this debate, asking each candidate a series of questions. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer. Senator McAuliffe, joining us at the moderating table, will address any questions or concerns from candidates throughout the debate. Candidates, should you have an urgent question, comment, or concern, please seek Senator McAuliffe's attention. The debate will be as follows. Each candidate ticket will present a 5-minute opening statement, followed by a question and answer section, and then finally, they will present a 5-minute closing statement. About halfway through the debate, audience members will be able to write down and submit questions for candidates that will be addressed during roughly the last 20 minutes of the debate. We ask that you please all silence your cell phones and refrain from making any sudden outbursts or disruptions throughout the debate to not only help with creating this to be a smooth event, but to also allow GBTV to thoroughly film this event. A coin toss earlier today revealed that Ms. Olatinwo and Mr. Amofa will be presenting their opening statement, followed by Secretary Plord and Senator LaFosse. Finally, we'd like to thank all of you for being here tonight, and I would especially like to thank everyone from the Elections Committee and Student Activities Office for all of their help throughout this semester. Don't forget to cast your vote next Thursday, March 12th, either on Connect to You or in the Campus Center until 4 p.m. Thank you again, and enjoy. Now, let's get started with the debate. Ms. Olatinwo and Mr. Amofa, the floor is now yours for your 5-minute opening statement.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to start everyone who worked hard for this event today. First, I would like to thank Donna Montgomery for all her hard work planning this and all her help with the candidates. I would like to thank the whole election committee. You have all worked very diligently to make today possible, and we truly applaud you. To everyone in GBTV who helped us produce our YouTube live video, as well as broadcasting live tonight, we want to thank you as well. Last but not least, to everyone who has supported Amo and I through our journey thus far, we truly appreciate you and we do not take you for granted, and we will make you proud. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Adeteyo Olatinwo, and I'm a junior psychology major from Monroe, Connecticut. I'm very excited for tonight, but I'm first gonna start off by telling you a little bit about myself. Almost 3 years ago today, I came into the university thinking I had it all figured out. Little did I know college would be my biggest challenge yet. But luckily, along the way, I had people that would help me with this challenge to pick me up if I had fallen. They include deans, peer advisors, mentors, and professors. The first time I saw an opportunity, I took it. Freshman year, United and Mutually Equal was in need of a president, and I told myself that if no one would step up to the plate, I would. I ran for president and was voted in. I had no previous experience or knew anything about what it meant to be a member of United and Mutually Equal, but I prepared myself. Preparation is key. When you have to take an exam, you don't deliberately say you're not gonna study because you have seen the material before. You prepare and study for it so you can succeed in it. Amo and I have been preparing for our future with you for a very long time, and we did not join in these elections until we felt absolutely prepared to be in these elections with you. And we hope you will give us the opportunity to show us what we are truly made of. We will not give up on you when it gets tough. We have grit. Experience is important, but grit is more important. Grit is when you put your mind to a goal and you do not stop until you execute it. Amo and I will not stop. We are determined to accomplish all of our goals with you, and we'll follow through with you until the end. When it comes to experience, together, Amo and I have held several leadership positions on campus, and we are proud members of Dean's List. The list goes from Office of Admissions, First Year Office and Students in Transition, Diversity Office, and many more. Through our experiences, we have been able to build strong interpersonal relationships that we carry through our everyday lives. And these relationships have defined who we are today. You need a president and a vice president you can relate with. If you see Amo and I, you always see us catching up and cracking some jokes. Leadership is something we take very seriously, but we don't want you to see us as high as mighty, because at the end of the day, we are one of you. If you look on the WNE seals, there are 3 words around the triangle outside of the torch. They are knowledge, service, and integrity. Amo and I promise to live by those 3 pillars. We already know copious information about the university and resources that pertain to success. But I cannot lie, we are not perfect, but we will work. We will work to make sure that Western New England University is the place you've always dreamed of. We will work with senators to find the best possible solutions to all your problems. In the service domain, we will serve you until the end. After all, these elections are about you just as much as they are about us. We see all of the amazing things you guys accomplish every single day, and you truly inspire us. We hope that we can join forces and make this university a better university for future generations to come. It's like the domino effect. One person starts, and we all follow. When it comes to integrity, Amo and I hold ourselves to a higher standard. Honesty is the best policy. In my role as a peer advisor, I have had the opportunity to meet many first-year students. Many of them have contributions to the community that are great. I can see a little flame burning in them. It breaks my heart when they don't know what proper pathways to take in order to make these contributions a success. But when Amo and I are president of Senate and vice president, we will work to make sure that every student can see Senate as a pathway to have their flame ignited. We understand Senate is not just about us, and we will work with a wide range of senators to make this university a place you've dreamed of. Please allow Amo and I to escort you into a future year of greatness.
Good evening, I'm Amo Mensel Mofa. If there's anything I've learned through my time here at WNE, it's that it's nearly impossible to go through anything alone. Having gone through the transfer process, I've always been looking for a way out. But looking for a way out, I found that WNE gave me a home, a sense of belonging. Through great friends, professors, and resources, my decision to return was a no-brainer. For everything the university has provided for both Teo and I, it feels like it's a moral obligation for us to give back to you guys, because without you guys, WNE is no longer here. I know what it feels like to feel like an everyday student where your voice is unheard. However, Teo and I are working overtime to ensure that your voices are heard and that your upcoming year is very successful all across the board.
Thank you very much. Your 5 minutes is up. Secretary Plourd, Senator LaFosse, the floor is now yours.
Thank you. Good evening. Sorry. My name is Riley Bensing Plourd, and I'm a junior psychology major with a minor in creative writing. On campus, I serve as a student ambassador, a member of the National Residence Hall Honorary, a student assistant in the Office of Student Activities, a member of the Class of 2021 Council, as well as being the Student Senate Secretary. Being in Senate for 4 terms, I have had the opportunity to be a part of both the resident and Class of 2021 constituencies. In these roles, I have worked with public safety on parking concerns, the Career Development Center on a Sophomore Career Connections program, as well as other various offices on campus. Through this time, I've been a committee member of both. In conjunction with my work on Senate, I have had the honor of being recognized as Senator of the Month for my participation and dedication within the organization. I want to be your Student Senate President because I believe that I have a thorough understanding of the role, as well as having the desire to push myself and those I am working with to advocate for the students.
Hello, my name is Willa Foss. I'm a sophomore marketing major with minors in political science and public administration. I am also a member of the College of Business Honors Program, and I have recently been inducted into the Alpha Lambda Delta Honor Society. I am also working as a student assistant to the Provost's office. I was elected to my current Student Senate position during the fall 2019 election cycle as I serve as representative for the College of Business. I am also very proud of my accomplishments in the Legislative Committee, where I work directly with students on clubs and organizations on campus to finalize their constitutions. One of the initiatives I am most proud of during my tenure on Student Senate is my involvement with the Office of Advancement, specifically in thanking donors to the university from a student's perspective. As Vice President, specifically, I hope to work with senators to strengthen their relationships with each other and their constituents with team-building exercises and events. As Student Senate President and Vice President, Riley and I plan on taking previous experiences on Student Senate and integrating the perspectives of not only the current senators, but all those on campus. We have had the opportunity to work with a wide range of university personnel, students from all backgrounds, and the campus community as a whole to ensure that all voices are heard and all views are validated.
Throughout the evening, we will be answering the questions that you have for us. We feel that it is important that you all know that this is a space to address any comments and concerns that you might have. With that, we would like to sincerely thank you all for your interest in tonight's event. And please know that we will be paying close attention to all of the points addressed, especially those from our fellow students. Will and I would like to thank President Montgomery and Vice President Ohazo, as well as the whole election committee for their hard work and involvement in this process. We would also like to thank Atateo and Amo for their participation in this debate, and we wish everyone the best of luck tonight.
Thank you all very much. Now on to questions. As a reminder, the questions will be tailored to each candidate, and the candidate of whom the question is tailored to will have 1 minute to respond. We will start with Ms. Olatinwo. Please talk to us about your interest in running for President of Student Senate.
Hello, everyone. So my interest in running for Student Senate President all came from all of my previous leadership experiences on campus. Like I mentioned, I have held several leadership positions on campus, and through these leadership positions, I talk to students all the time. I'm a peer advisor, I was an orientation group leader, I'm also a student ambassador, which means I speak with prospective students, and they all have comments and concerns about the university and things that are going on within the university. And it always seems like they don't know, how to find their way to Student Senate or how to make things happen, or just how to get here in general. So I feel like being Student Senate President, I would make an avenue for students to feel like Student Senate is a pathway to have all their ideas heard, all their voices heard and validated. And I feel like having Amo by my side would also be very beneficial because we bring different things to the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary Plord, please address your interest in President of Student Senate.
As mentioned previously, I've been on Senate for 4 terms now. Within those terms, I've had the opportunity to grow my leadership as well as grow with my peers. I'm interested in the Student Senate President position because I believe that with this opportunity, I will be able to improve our university as a whole, as well as our relationships with staff members, other student body members, and all clubs and organizations.
Mr. Amofa, please tell us why you chose to run for Vice President of Student Senate.
The decision, honestly, for me was a no-brainer because having been great friends with Teo, I honestly can't think of anyone who's better for the presidential position. I've known Teo for a while now, and I've always been her right-hand man, so for her to go towards this sort of avenue, I was all for it, and I feel like us together, like Teo said, we have a variety of experiences, and I feel like we can really put that to use and make the future of WNE greater, not just for our year or the upcoming years, but overall the future of WNE. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator LaFosse, please share with us why you chose to run for Vice President of Student Senate.
Well, one of the reasons why I chose to run for vice president is because we sort of made this decision together, Riley and I think that even though I haven't been on Senate for since my freshman year, I feel that I bring a fresh perspective to the Student Senate and to the seat as vice president.
Thank you very much. Ms. Olatinwo, given that you have never served on Student Senate before, how would you prepare yourself in this role to adapt and learn the policies and procedures that the Senate must follow?
Great question. So I understand that I have never served in the role of Student Senate before, but I feel like that's actually kind of beneficial to this position because I bring a fresh new perspective and a fresh new view to Student Senate. In preparation for the role, I am more than happy to work relentlessly with Donna as well as other members of Student Senate in preparing for this role. As I mentioned before, experience is very important and we do appreciate everyone's experience, but at the same time, it is very essential to prepare yourself in whatever you're gonna do. Thank you.
Secretary Plord, how will you transition from secretary, which serves to listen and take minutes, into a role that serves to actively lead and guide?
I've gone from a lot of different roles on Senate as serving in the class of 2021 representative position, as well as being a resident representative and now the secretary. So I've gone from being able to have a vote to not have a vote, and hoping to go back to the role where I do have a vote. So I think that it'll definitely be a little bit of a transition because I'm used to kind of sitting there typing away and just really listening. And now I'll be able to not only listen, but I will also be able to communicate and voice my own opinions as well, and hearing everyone else.
Thank you. Ms. Olatinwo, how do you anticipate the upcoming year as a new member yourself with a brand new Student Senate advisor?
As a new member with a brand new Student Senate member advisor, I'm actually very excited for this role. I feel like new things are good, new changes are good, you know, out with the old, in with the new, excuse me. So I feel like that would be very beneficial to the position, as well as having a new advisor. I feel like we can both play on our strengths and weaknesses because we both can learn so much about this role coming in.
Secretary Plord, after working closely with the same advisor for 2 years, please share with us your vision for Student Senate with a new advisor.
My vision for Student Senate with a new advisor is to take what worked with us in the old and then kind of bring new things into Student Senate. So some of those things being the communication. Communication is key, so really influencing that, as well as bringing in new technologies and new ideas.
Thank you. Senator LaFosse, please share with us your accomplishments thus far as a senator.
Well, I'm really proud, even with the fairly short tenure I've had on Student Senate, of my involvement with the Office of Advancement. So for any of those who don't know what the Office of Advancement does, is they connect with potential donors to this university who would give gifts to us, and those gifts in turn become scholarships for all of you. So I'm really proud of the sort of student perspective that I can bring to that, and I think that's what I'm most proud of being on Student Senate.
Mr. Amofa, please share with us an accomplishment you have achieved that you believe will aid you as a new member of Student Senate.
An accomplishment I personally have is being an APM. Great thanks with the first year office. I was given the position as an academic progress monitor for this semester. And just being able to work one-on-one with students to ensure that not only is their experience in class going well, but also out of class. I know various factors happens in everyone's lives, and you can't control what happens, but being the person to set someone back on track to ensure success all across the board is something I take great pride in. So I think that's definitely my greatest accomplishment here so far. Thank you.
Secretary Plord, with the campus center closing soon for renovations, what will you do as a Senate to help keep the vibrancy of student activities and programming alive?
In order to do that, I think it's first critical that all the students know that there will be a transition. So kind of putting that information out, working with the Public Relations Committee chair, and making sure, of course, everyone knows where the campus center will be, and with that, where the resources will be. So if there's going to be a game room, where that'll be located, where offices will be located as resources. I think our students are pretty lively. We have a fun bunch of us here, so with that, I think that as long as we have a space for our students to hang out, our students will continue to hang out and enjoy each other's company.
Thank you. Ms. Olatinwo, with the campus center closing soon for renovations, what will you do as a Senate to help keep the vibrancy of student activities and programming alive?
So to help keep the vibrancy and programming of Student Senate alive, we have many locations here on campus for activities and programs to be held. So we would want to make sure that students know that as well and not only feel like, oh, because the campus center is closed, you know, they're kind of bummed out. So just encouraging them that we do have other locations on campus like Rivers and the HLC for programs to be held. That'd be a really great starting point, as well as just implementing programs in places that people are comfortable having them. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator LaFosse, how would you handle a situation in which you and the president disagreed on something?
Well, I think with any professional experiences, there comes disagreements. It's just part of the learning process. So if there ever was a chance where I would disagree with Riley in a decision, I think that it's important for us to come together as a group, get all sorts of perspectives from not only the fellow senators, but also students on campus, and kind of come to a compromise where we could work together. Thank you.
Mr. Amofa, how would you handle a situation in which the president disagreed on something?
I think if that situation was to be brought forth on the table, I think the biggest thing is honestly just take a step back and consult with Teo if the decision is regarding if it's going to benefit the student body. I think at the end of the day, what we're doing here is to serve you guys. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what Teo thinks or what I think. It just is important that what we're doing is advocating for you guys, that your voices are heard. So it's never about me or Teo. It's always about you guys. So we'll do anything we can to always just keep that as the main focus throughout our term. Thank you.
Secretary Plord, what is a challenge Student Senate has previously dealt with that you would like to readdress in your administration?
I believe that a challenge that Student Senate has faced in our previous administrations is coming up with ideas for the all access policy. With that being said, I think that it's really important that all students' opinions are taken into account. And so while this policy was changed last year from what it was previously, we now have a new group of students here. So I think it's important to take those students' opinions into account.
Thank you. Ms. Olatinwo, what is a challenge Student Senate has previously dealt with that you would like to readdress in your administration?
In my administration, a challenge that I would like to readdress is definitely the dining hall and more food accommodations for students here on campus. I know there's word that maybe Firehouse might be switching into something different. So definitely just talking to students about what they want to eat, what they want to see on campus would definitely be good because food is essential to students.
Thank you. Senator LaFosse, what do you see as the relationship between the Student Senate and the student body?
The Student Senate and the student body are definitely something that should be working together, and as part of the Pleward administration, I think it'd be really important for us to move forward with building on that relationship that we have. So I think that's something we should definitely work on in the next administration. Thank you.
Mr. Amofa, what do you see as a relationship between Student Senate and the student body?
I think the Student Senate is a mere reflection of the student body. So Student Senate essentially advocates for the student body, and it goes hand in hand in regards to advocating for what the entire student body wants. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all students here. We all love Western New England, so it's just important that we set out a blueprint where we each work with one another to ensure that we all are successful here at WNE. Thank you.
Secretary Plord, what is a new concern you would like Student Senate to tackle?
A new concern that I would like Student Senate to tackle is working with public safety on emergency action plans. I think as a student, I often don't know what I would do in an emergency situation on campus, so I think it's important that our students do know that. I know at other universities there's flyers, there's handouts, things in classrooms. We do not have that at Western New England, so I think that that's something that's really important, especially with just everything that's going on in our country right now.
Thank you. Ms. Olatinwo, what is a new concern that you would like Student Senate to tackle?
A new concern that I would like Student Senate to tackle is utilizing our new university commons upstairs in the dining hall. I know that we do have a little balcony up there, and it would be nice for nicer weather for students to come out and enjoy the space up there. So utilizing that whole building as a whole would put our money's worth towards the building, as well as students can enjoy that. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator LaFosse, please discuss with us the biggest trait you will bring to Senate as the Vice President.
I think the biggest trait that I will bring is positivity. I think we need to move forward with a positive new perspective, and I certainly think that I can bring that to the table at every Senate meeting as I have in the past. So thank you for asking that question.
Mr. Amofa, please discuss with us the biggest trait that you will bring to Senate as the Vice President.
I think one thing I really pride myself on, and I think Teo does as well, is just interpersonal relationships. So through my time here, through everyone I've met, I've tried to create a bigger bond than just saying hi or bye. So I think by bringing forth that relationship amongst not only the student body but the senators, I feel like there's a sense of trust that's built between us, and that will make things in the future much easier to go about if we're on the same level, we're on the same page. Thank you.
Secretary Plord, please discuss one or two accomplishments you have achieved at Western New England outside of Senate.
Outside of Senate, I had the opportunity of being a peer advisor last year. Through peer advising, I was able to work with underclassmen as well as other PAs to really kind of help inform students of the resources that are on campus, as well as helping my other peer advisors work through the struggles of entering this leadership role and what it means to be a student leader on campus.
Thank you. Ms. Olatinwo, please discuss with us one or two accomplishments you have achieved at your time here at Western New England.
So, serving as president of United and Mutually Equal, I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to listen to what people from the organization want and want included. And one of the things that students had told me that they wanted my freshman year was an event on campus that was a multicultural event that would include people on and off campus. Now, this was probably the biggest challenge yet planning in my time here at the university, just because it took a year and a half to plan and then it took another semester to implement. But I worked hard with members from my e-board as well as members from the club and organizations and colleges from our sister schools like Springfield College, Elms College, and through that we were able to have the second largest event on campus that had over 400 people here in Rivers Memorial Hall, and it was a great event. Public safety helped out, and that year we also worked with Student Senate when Dean Kaiser was still the club advisor, so that was a big event, and I'm most proud of that. I'm so proud of that the flyer is actually still hanging in my room. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. We have timed this actually fantastically. It is now 6:30. We will take a brief intermission for 10 minutes. Audience members, you are more than welcome to come up here and submit some questions, and we will reconvene at 6:40 p.m. Thank you. All right, welcome back. Thank you all so much for your patience as we wrap up the debate here this evening. We have one final question for each of the candidates that is different for each of them, so we will continue and start to ask them those questions. Ms. Olatinwo, why did you not choose to represent a constituency or join Student Senate prior to running for president?
That is a very great question that I have a very great answer to. So, as I mentioned, I have held several leadership positions here on campus: peer advisor, student ambassador, orientation group leader, academic progress monitor. I'm also a member of National Residence Hall Honorary, a member of Dean's List. So as you can anticipate, I had much on my plate. So I felt like I had to leave my marks in other domain on campus first before leaving my bigger mark on Student Senate. That's why I did not choose to join Student Senate at an earlier date. And I also mentioned earlier that me and Amo and I felt that we should join when we felt completely prepared, or it was absolutely necessary to join in this election. You know, it's not every time that you want to do things that you certainly have to like jump right into it. You kind of have to like prepare yourself and see how things are gonna go. Thank you.
Secretary Plord, why do you think your Senate experience is such an advantage to you?
I believe that having experience with Senate comes to many advantages. For example, I know the policy, I've practiced it, I've learned it, I've taught it. So I think that knowing that prepares me for just the style of the meeting and the environment that Student Senate is held in. I also believe that with my experience in Senate, I know the proper resources to utilize on campus. I know which professional staff members we've worked with before. I know which professional staff members are willing to come into Senate and give advice as well as help us out when needed.
Thank you. Senator LaFosse, please tell us what outside of Student Senate you are involved with on campus.
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't get involved much outside of Student Senate. My freshman year, I was a very, very shy freshman, and it was very hard for me to make friends. But through Student Senate, I've definitely made a lot more friends, and I've kind of went in full guns blazing, and I'm really proud of everything that I've done this year. Not to say that I don't have the experience, but I think that some of my prior mis-experience, rather, certainly kind of helps with everything to do with the future. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Amofa, how would you guarantee that all voices are heard?
I think, well, one thing that Taylor and I spoke about was making sure that we're obviously open to the people. So we had a suggestion of kind of opening up a small box where people could just slip in suggestions. We almost want to follow like a professor guideline where we kind of post whenever our availability time is, and just ensuring that people know that we will make time for you, because at the end of the day, we are here for the student body. So one thing we do really pride ourselves in is making sure that we stick to our word. And one thing that we preach all the time is just making sure that we make time for the student body. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for submitting your questions. We will now move to closing statements. Ms. Olatinwo and Mr. Amofa, you have 5 minutes.
I want to thank you guys for coming out here tonight to attend the debate. I'd like to thank the moderators for tonight and taking time out of your day to be here with us. Taylor and I are very grateful for this opportunity, and even more grateful for you guys for allowing us to be in this position. From tonight's debate, it's important to remember that our message bears to all students. It is our responsibility to do whatever is necessary to ensure that all your voices are heard. Throughout the course of debate, we have given you a glimpse of what we envision for the future of WNE. We believe that we are well equipped to ensure nothing but success for all you guys. We ask that we all come together as a cohesive student body to make sure that the future of WNE is very bright. With that being said, we ask for your vote, and we promise that if you give us the honor of serving you as president and vice president, we'll work every day endlessly on behalf of your future. Thank you very much.
Great leaders don't set out to be great leaders. They set out to make a difference. Amo and I would like to make a difference with you on our side. It's never about the role, it's about the goal. Our goal is you. We will advocate for and with you. We will work to make sure all your dreams come true at Western New England University by all means necessary. If you noticed, Amo and I overemphasized the word you tonight. That's because this election is not about Amo and I, nor is it about Riley and Matt. It's about you and how you want to live your legacy at Western New England University. So choose wisely. Together we stand, divided we fall. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary Plourd, Senator LaFosse, the floor is now yours. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. As we bid you all good night and a pleasant tomorrow, Riley and I would like to leave you with these final thoughts. As a recap and to reiterate the points we brought up tonight, we would like to accomplish these 6 specific initiatives. We'd like to implement more team building activities with senators so they can better serve the students, increase our activity and interest with the advancement and donor relations process, revitalize and communicate an emergency action plan, sensibly make a more environmentally friendly campus, share insight about the upcoming campus center renovations, and initiate town hall style events where students like you can communicate with your Senate representatives. Riley and I are very proud of all of the accomplishments we are planning to achieve, but none of it would be possible without you. We are asking for your vote not because of the title, but because you want to advocate for yourself on campus. We sincerely hope that you will consider us worthy for your vote and serve as your representatives. Riley and I would like to thank you so much for your consideration and for even showing up tonight, and we hope that you will hear more from you in the future. Thank you.
We thank you all for coming out tonight to hear what all of the candidates have to offer the student body at Western New England University. Will and I believe that as leaders, it is important to follow the 5 practices of exemplary leadership. Number 1, inspire a shared vision. Number 2, model the way. Number 3, challenge the process. Number 4, encourage the heart. And number 5, enable others to act. We are passionate about exploring each of these practices as the paramount goal of our leadership. Through executing our leadership capabilities, we look towards creating an environment where communication is key, professional and personal growth is encouraged, and improvement is always welcome. In doing so, we can move forward with our next historical century as a university. We would like to leave you all with these final words. There is immense strength in admitting what you cannot do. Will and I cannot stand on this platform and tell you what it's like to be at Western New England as first-generation students, nor what it's like to be a student of color at the university. We do not feel the struggles of our international students, nor our students with physical disabilities. But we are able to recognize these things and speak with kindness and admit to our willingness to improve campus life for all. We can dedicate our weeks to sitting in Senate meetings and pulling the ears of faculty members who may wish that our voices would fall mute. We can stay up late at night highly caffeinated, writing proposals for advancement or public safety. We can open our hearts and minds to the 3,000 undergraduate Golden Bears that experience the ups and downs of the overwhelming yet rewarding college experience. We can listen and we will hear you just as we have done in many other capacities on campus. We know that we have the passion because we can feel it just as much as our intense craving for cinnamon rolls in the dining hall. We know that we have the experience because we have trained ourselves to fall into the Senate mentality every Tuesday when the gavel smacks the table at the beginning of our meeting. We know that we have a willingness to listen because our ears will continue to remain open to your feedback. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and know that with your vote, we can make all of these things possible. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for being here this evening. Audience members, thank you so much for coming out to this debate. We now invite you to stay for the second half of our event this evening and join us on the other side of CCA, where you will have an opportunity to meet and mingle with all or most of our candidates, seeking all Student Senate seats and class officer seats as well. There will also be some light refreshments. Once again, we thank you all for being here, and most importantly, for our candidates for coming out this evening. Thank you.